Do you sometimes find yourself unable to control the urges that undermine your ambitions and value? Or do you give in to temptations that make you fail at your goals and feel bad about yourself? If so, your base feelings have made you a slave, a prisoner whose chains are your uncontrolled wants. But there is a way to freedom, a set of rules that the smartest people in ancient times stuck to. The Stoic principles of self-mastery give you a firm way to fight urges that hurt yourself and reach your fullest potential. If you follow these lessons, you will reach a level of unwavering drive that only great people like Marcus Aurelius have reached. 1. Seek discomfort. Most people constantly chase pleasure and comfort. They avoid anything difficult or uncomfortable at all costs. This makes them weak. As Marcus Aurelius said, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." The self-disciplined are cut from a different cloth. They deliberately pursue discomfort and difficulty. For example, you could take cold showers, fast for a day, or do intense physical training. The goal isn't being miserable, but becoming detached from life's minor displeasures. Like a soldier in training, you get tougher by embracing temporary hardship. Keep challenging yourself, and you'll be unfazed by any inconvenience or struggle life throws your way. Comfortable people are soft and easily derailed from goals by any obstacle, but by exercising your tolerance for discomfort, you develop an unwavering discipline and grit. As Seneca said, "We are more often frightened than hurt. Our troubles are born of anticipation rather than real experience." Don't fear or avoid feeling uncomfortable. Use it as fuel for your willpower. 2. Confront your mortality. Most people live like they'll live forever, constantly procrastinating on goals to indulge temporary pleasures. But the great Stoic philosophers deeply grasped that death could come at any moment for any of us. This perspective is what drove their intense focus and productivity. Just like a soldier before battle, imagine your time being severely limited. What if today could be your very last? Keeping death at the forefront banishes any tendency to fritter time away on trivialities. Trivial distractions lose all their seduction when you feel your mortality breathing down your neck. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Imagine getting a terminal cancer diagnosis. That'd quickly clarify what's worth prioritizing. It's only by truly internalizing your impermanence that motivation and discipline become unshakable. Set a daily alarm reminding you of your mortality. Keep a daily journal on your deathbed regrets if you wasted that day. Let the reality of your finitude seep into your bones so you don't sleepwalk through life, craving distractions. Stay awake to your inevitable exit. 3. Extinguish entitlement. The biggest thing preventing self-discipline is a paralyzing sense of entitlement, feeling you deserve pleasure, wealth, success, or status without immense effort. This toxic mindset dooms people to a life of laziness and resentment. In contrast, the most diligent among us kill any delusional belief that they're owed anything beyond what they strive to earn through hard work. As Epictetus said, "Make the mind take a bit of exercise. Great is the struggle necessary to overcome uncultivated savagery." Imagine being stripped of all possessions, money, and privileges you feel you're owed. Could you humbly accept that Spartan fate without complaint? That's the anti-entitlement mentality required for self-discipline. Expect nothing to be given. Earn it all through relentless self-development. Entitlement is an unconscious defense mechanism stemming from an inability to accept life's cosmic indifference to one's desires and expectations. It's the psychological equivalent of a child's tantrum when denied something they desperately want but don't deserve. True self-discipline can only take root when you shed that immature, entitled ego and replace it with an ultra-stoic acceptance that you're owed nothing by the universe. Humility unlocks true grit. 4. Appreciate challenging situations despite your will. While seeking out discomfort is important, the self-disciplined also strategically accept large-scale voluntary difficulties and hardships. This is analogous to simulating their own personal worst-case scenarios. For example, you could take a vow of silence for a week, live out of a car for a month, or do an extreme multi-day fast. These manufactured crucibles test your fortitude in a relatively safe environment before true adversity strikes. As Musonius Rufus said, If a man is unhappy, remember that his unhappiness is his own fault, for God has made all humans to be happy, to be self-reliant. By intentionally exposing yourself to extraordinarily high degrees of strain, you cement calmness and control as your default settings. Nothing can faze someone who has voluntarily undergone their own harrowing personal reforging. Bring challenges to yourself before life does. Voluntary hardship is a way to preemptively strike at one's fears, insecurities, and delusions of frailty. It's exposing yourself to highly condensed adversity in order to foster unshakable confidence in your resilience and capabilities. Rather than living in anxious trepidation of worst-case scenarios, you can enter a Zen-like state from having emerged victoriously through your own worst simulated hells. 5. Practice Stoic meditation. The ancient Stoics didn't just philosophize, but engaged in particular meditation practices to strengthen their resolve. One was premeditatio malorum, premeditation of potential negative future events. They'd vividly envision the worst that could happen and accept it rationally. Another was negativity visualization, where they'd imagine losing loved ones, possessions, or any advantage they had in life, steeling themselves ahead of time. As Seneca said, "We are more often frightened than hurt. Our troubles are born of anticipation rather than real experience." By constantly exposing their minds to worst-case scenarios, the Stoics eliminated the sting from soured expectations or devastations when they occurred. Their disciplined psyches had already assimilated the worst potential emotional pain in simulated rehearsals. These visualization practices are a form of psychologic preventive adjustment, consciously undergoing negative mental simulations to cultivate pre-acceptance and detachment. It's extinguishing the seeds of anxiety, shock, and despair before they take root in your mind. By being able to remain calm and rational while envisioning abject devastation, the Stoics rendered themselves virtually indefatigable when life's true misfortunes inevitably struck. 6. Eliminate escapisms. Without self-discipline, it's easy to indulge in escapist coping habits like alcohol, binge-watching, drugs, gaming binges, and other vices. But the self-disciplined cut off and cauterize those mental leeches at the source. As Epictetus taught, no great thing is created suddenly any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen. Discipline and realization of true fulfillment take time and sustained effort. You can't keep short-circuiting or numbing yourself with addictive escapist behaviors. Identify your escapist habits and pragmatically remove all avenues to access them for a set period. For example, disable internet access for a week or remove all games from your devices. Be methodical in boosting your tolerance for existence without mental sedation or distraction. That's the path to cultivating your innate discipline, not perpetual self-medication and avoidance. 7. Impose difficult routines. Most people's ideal routines are unstructured, leisurely, and packed with ample recreation time. That's the antithesis of self-discipline. The unwavering individuals adopt rigid, demanding regimens that keep their psychological edges constantly whetted. For example, you could rise at 4:30 a.m. daily for intense exercise, eat an extraordinarily strict diet, read profound works for hours, and practice musically or linguistically before work. By fashioning your days with an ascetic, grueling structure, you annihilate any inkling of being dominated by idleness or path of least resistance decision-making. As Seneca said, "True joy is a severe thing." The self-disciplined find their greatest satisfaction in the fulfillment of striving toward their utmost capacities each day rather than succumbing to earthly distractions. Craft a lifestyle epitomizing discipline over indulgence. This difficult routine serves multiple purposes. It pushes your limits, builds lasting productive habits, starves impulsive cravings through scheduling, and aligns your lifestyle with your deepest values and aspirations. An arduous but intentional daily regimen is akin to fashioning an exoskeleton that enforces your discipline and protects you from mental slippage. 8. Cultivate extreme ownership. One of the core tenets of Stoicism is taking full responsibility for every outcome in your life, rather than blaming external forces. The undisciplined always have a cavalcade of excuses to rationalize their failures or shortcomings. The self-disciplined refuse to make any such justifications. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. No matter how unfair a situation seems, the self-disciplined maintain they are responsible for their responses and efforts. Outside factors didn't ruin their plans. Their lack of willpower and creative problem-solving allowed difficulties to impede them. This principle of extreme ownership breeds a mindset of vigilant self-determination. You alone have the power to succeed or fail based on your actions and mental frameworks. The buck stops with you. Shun all exculpating narratives, and you'll be continuously forced to summon fierce responsibility and discipline. By refusing to blame any forces outside your control, you maintain your locus of control internally. This prevents any emotional draining of learned helplessness and keeps you focused on the areas you can always improve through more diligence and resourcefulness. Radical ownership is self-empowering. 9. Cut distractions ruthlessly. While most people are endlessly engrossed in social media, celebrity gossip, video streaming, and other modern distractions, the self-disciplined are ruthlessly discerning about what captures their attention. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Identify any habits, relationships, influences, or vices that derail your focus and eliminate them without mercy. Disable non-essential apps and notifications. End toxic friendships. Bypass mainstream media and pop culture rabbit holes. Be hypervigilant about warding off distractions, and you'll actualize your discipline. The undisciplined are willingly hijacked by anything designed to gratify impulsivity and divide their minds. Starve those diversions of your attention and presence. Invest your seized mental energies into more substantive ambitions. This singles out one of the greatest threats to modern self-discipline, the predatory algorithms and engagement traps of digital landscapes. By mercilessly culling time-energy leeches, you retain mastery over your own consciousness, rather than giving it over to mind-fragmenting dopamine loops. Protect your presence of mind from hijackers at all costs. 10. Frequent difficult company. You are heavily influenced by the people you surround yourself with. If your regular company is complainers, procrastinators, or those in philosophical opposition to disciplined living, their mindsets will inevitably infect yours over time like a virus. As Marcus Aurelius advised, associate with people who are able to help you make progress. The self-disciplined deliberately immerse themselves in demanding peer ecosystems that reinforce sacrifice and steal their mental fortitude. For example, join organizations or take up hobbies filled with industrious, high-achieving adherents who embody discipline as their way of life. Military units, monastic communities, elite athletic teams, etc. Let their unyielding examples rub off on you and prevent any attitude lapses where you grow complacent. Audaciously abandon any social circles actively undermining your self-discipline and find uncompromising new tribes truly calibrated toward your aspirations of personal mastery. The right reinforcing environment is essential for upholding towering standards amid the undertow of mediocrity. Cultivating unflinching self-discipline in the spirit of ancient Stoic sages requires adopting a comprehensive lifestyle dedicated to that aim. It is a never-ending war against complacency, moral frailty, and cravings for effortless gratification. By confronting discomfort, memorializing your mortality, extinguishing entitlement, pursuing voluntary struggles, practicing Stoic meditation, eliminating escapisms, imposing demanding routines, cultivating extreme ownership, ruthlessly cutting distractions, and immersing in elite cultures of industriousness, you forge an impervious inner fortress. From that unshakable higher ground of personal control, no evil can take away your discipline, no indulgence can stop your skill, and no hardship can weaken your unwavering determination to reach your full human potential. Adopt these unbreakable Stoic principles as doctrine, and you'll be able to achieve greatness that most people can only dream of. The rest is just doing it. Daringly leave any social groups that are actively working against your self-discipline and find new groups that are truly aligned with your goals of personal success. It's important to have the right setting for reinforcement. If you have made it this far, comment down below with the word 100% to confirm that you have received the knowledge from this video. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.